Hello, everybody out there in TV land. Here we are. We got the man Yaakov here visiting us today, but we're just going to kind of sit and talk a little bit and have some fun as we normally do. And our topic of the day is muscular failure versus giving up. Woo, boy, don't we know a lot of people who give up out there. So we're going to kind of break it down a little bit and just kind of, run through some things. You guys know how you can go and post and comment anytime you want. Make sure you please subscribe and share us with your friends. And we're just going to move forward from here. But first, I want to let my co-host give his little shout out, and we'll go from there.
What's up, everybody? I know it's been a minute. We've been lifing. So, hey, sometimes it'd be like that, but we're back. I guess that was our how they had the off season on TV. That was our off season. So now it's back in the fall season for us, I guess. So welcome back, man. I'm glad. I see your gym. We'll talk about that a little later because you're in a different spot. Yeah. You're in a different spot there, Big Rob.
Got a different background. And it's real. It's not like one of those green screens.
Yeah, it's a green screen.
Yeah, it's real. So if I have to go back there and do a set for you real quick, I can kind of show you that too.
Go. So go ahead, man. We got a guest. We got a special guest today, man. Go ahead and let's go into him.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Yaakov.
All right. So my name is Yaakov Bar-Am, and I've been a NASM trainer since 2011 and full-time into training. And that's all I do since 2014. I am an IFBB pro. I just retired from competition this year. I'm 61. And now I have my nutrition side of my business. I have some personal training clients, and then I have a bodybuilding team called Team Masters Muscle. So most of my competitors, a large majority, well, I think all of them but one, are 35 and older. Since I have a lot of experience working with older guys and gals and people with injuries, I'm a corrective exercise specialist. And just I have been a huge fan of bodybuilding since 1977. I saw Pumping Iron in the movie theater, and it was from then I wanted to be a bodybuilder. And I told my parents, and they're like, "What are you talking about? You should be studying. You need to be a doctor, a lawyer. You're wasting your time."
Right.
Yeah, we've all heard that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're happy to have you on board. I like everybody out there to be aware that me and Mr. Yaakov competed with each other there in Florida, and had a great time. We had a great conversation after it was all over with. One thing I can tell you guys out there, if you ever decide to compete, there's a lot of friends to be made. You end up running to the same circle all the time, and it's just that moment of camaraderie where everyone is no longer nervous about it, especially at our age. You're not looking at the next person, staring them down. You just got to go, okay, I'm bringing my best, and let's let them judge on that, and then you kind of have more fun. So I enjoyed him, and that's why he's here today. We talked a little bit after the fact, and I am gracious and grateful that you was able to come on board here and just kind of share your history with us. And you gave us a little bit, but you was on Instagram, and you brought up this topic, and I said, well, let me reach out to him and see if he want to talk about it. And as you guys can see, it's muscularity failure versus giving up. And like I said earlier, there's a lot of people that understand it, but don't really. I would say a lot of people don't understand the fact that if you're setting up your exercises with reps, then you're never going to go to any type of muscular failure. I believe that there's a pyramid side of it, and you can add weight each set to where you're getting fatigue. But if you're just going to go, I'm going to do 12, 3 sets of 12, 3 sets of 10, the chance of you reaching that point that we're going to talk about today is probably very difficult to do. But I'm going to let Mr. Yaakov go ahead and kind of explain why he put that on Instagram.
All right. So, I see a lot of people saying that, yeah, well, I had a rep in reserve. So when I'm working with my clients, I'm always asking them, hey, how is that on a scale of 1 to 10? Their RPE, their rate of perceived exertion. If it's a 10, it's like, that's my top set. I know I'm not getting any more out of it. If I ask them to do 8, and they're pretty much getting to failure on 6, 7, and it's all they can do. Please God help me to get to
Yeah.
number 8. So when Dorian Yates was my coach for 2 years, so I partially use his system of my first set is a 50% load. I record everything. I'm kind of OCD, so I always know where I'm at. A lot of my clients don't do that, so they never quite know. And then my second set's usually around 70% of my load. I'm always tempoing as well, 42-10 tempos, 32-10s, 20-20s. I'm a firm believer in tempo. So I see people and they never change. So I want to make sure that with my clients, since we're older, we got to get everything out of every workout and every rep. So when I get them to those top 2 working sets, I want them to be, if I'm not around, I don't want them to go to failure because I don't want them to hurt themselves if they're not on a machine or something. But I got to get them to the point where no more work can be done. So I had a client who was, he really wanted to up. I saw that he had too much volume and too much frequency, and he didn't understand the relationship between the limiting factor between frequency and volume is your recovery. And when I meet somebody who says, yeah, I can work out 6, 7 days a week, that's the number one sign you're not working out hard enough.
Yeah.
The day you finally admit, oh man, I needed that rest day, I can't wait for that rest day, is the first indication that you've done a workout with the right amount of intensity. So then, kind of the next step is, well, if my recovery is my limiting factor, then how many exercises do I need to do? And we know scientifically pretty much less is more. So if I was given the opportunity to do 2 exercises versus 10 different exercises, by exercise probably number 4, you're half-assing it. There's no return on investment with that whatsoever. So I would much rather have 2, 3 hard-ass exercises, like just for your hamstrings or just for your triceps, that are going to not annihilate you, but do the job with the right amount of intensity, so that you're just not making any gains at all, or you're not even tearing muscle by the time you get to those higher, more different exercises. And
Yes.
that's the whole concept of this that really got me started on my workout philosophy.
So
Can you explain to the audience? Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to ask him to explain about the tempo, so people that don't know what that means,
That's a very good question. So let's say you are on a hack squat, and I tell you that your tempo is 42-10. So on your way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, the second part of the motion is the rest, a 2 count rest, and then you're exploding back up and right back down into the exercise. So you always have to remember, where is the exercise starting from? So on a hack squat, if I say 42-10, it's a 4 count down. So in this case, it's the eccentric part of the motion, the completion of the motion for the pause, the concentric part of the motion, and then is there going to be a pause after that? So let's say we're doing on a Smith machine, and I tell you your tempo is 22-22. So we're coming down 1, 2, we get a good full stretch. 1, 2, 1, 2, hold 2 down. So we use that number system to get a whole lot more work than we would if we just pounded out 12. So if I have somebody on a Smith machine and they're doing incline bench, and I tell them to do 12, it might be 10 seconds of work, But if I give them a 42-10 tempo, this is going to be at least a 30-second set, and they're going to get so much time under tension. That's going to drive up the intensity level. And for my older guys who still, their shoulders, I'm not trying to destroy their shoulders. I'm, biomechanically, it has to be a perfect motion. Now I can back off on the weight and increase the intensity using tempo sets. So if you watch Nick Walker with his RP program, even Chris Bumstead does it, Jared Feather, Hani Rambad, although he doesn't count the tempos, but he's doing the same thing. It's time under tension.
Sure.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's one of the people to understand what that meant, because we all know what it means. But for your regular people out there, especially when you're your clients, I'm pretty sure they're like, "Hey, what are you talking about?" So that was a good explanation. Appreciate that.
So when you work with me, one of the things you get too is what I call my own kind of flavor on sets. So if I want your set to be really smooth, it's not necessarily a 22-22. I said, we're doing this as a straight bourbon set. I don't drink, but I've been told that good bourbons are supposed to be smooth. So apparently the analogy of a mayonnaise set being smooth just doesn't appeal to people. I don't want any herky jerky motions. I don't want any exploding motions. I want a bourbon set, nice and smooth. It might be on their last set, I'm telling them this is a 32-12 tempo set, 8 reps, but it's a serial set. That means there's a surprise at the end.
Right.
And so at least they know it's coming. So I have all these little words that I use so that they know what's coming and what to expect.
So how do you feel about beginners doing this?
I honestly think they need to master the motions first. Keep it very simple, full body workouts. I think it's always a good idea for a beginner to have somebody who really knows how to do the motion so they learn how to do it right. Learn how to squat correctly, learn how to do a bench press correctly. So when I see these teenage boys, it's like, oh my God, they're bad form. So for a rank beginner, no, I don't use any type of tempo. It's consistent form.
Go ahead. Rob.
Being a beginner in general, I mean, I think we all three can say that we really don't have to push till failure or anything like that to build muscle because it's something brand new. And so the body's going to adapt to all that until we get to more of an experienced lifter size. So would that be, you agree with that? Okay. So with that, if you had a beginner that was really muscular and he's, by you being his coach, can say, you know what, I think we can start doing this tempo training with you. What age limit would you say that would start at?
So I would never say that there is an age limit. What I would say is that there is an experience limit. Okay. So now, if I have somebody who's really bright and has a lot of natural talent and they have good proprioceptive skills, one of the things when I meet a new client is I'll say, can you do this? And I'll pull my hand down real quick. And if they go, was that it? I know they have no sense of where their body is in space and time. If they do say, what, you mean that? I said, okay, I'm going to have an easy time with you. So I do have a client like that right now. I can tell him exactly, I demonstrate what to do. After like 2 reps, he's mastered it. And so we've been working together about 4 months now. So now I've been incorporating, he's never really worked out. So, and he was a tall guy, a former basketball player. So now I'm starting to incorporate these motions in because he's not super strong yet. So these lighter weights, it's perfect to help even build up his raw strength.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked the age limit thing is that you got kids now, 12, 13, that are really deep into sports now. So, I mean, their ability to understand the game that it took us so long to learn because we started in an era where weightlifting and all that stuff was kind of, okay, what is that, right? And so, so these kids now are really advanced, at that age of 12. And that's why I was saying, would you do that with the beginner starting at an age group of like 12, that are getting ready for baseball, football, or even basketball? I mean, is that something that you will implement? Because in my
So,
experience in general,
you
I will just go with the steady training, making sure their form is correct, making sure that they're not, overtraining or undertraining, but pushing them to that limit to where it's not like causing, some parents will say, well, you're stunning their growth, or that's going to happen, and all these different factors, which is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
that was eye roll number 13 I have.
Yeah. You hear it a lot too, right? So I get it. It's like, no, that's not going to happen.
Your limiting factor with young people is their attention span.
Yeah.
Especially now, they're like, they got to do everything now. They want everything now. So if I'm with somebody who's younger, I got to make sure that they've got the attention span, that they're not going to go wandering away.
Yes,
absolutely. If I ever got to that point with them,
or just getting them to communicate with you while you're training, like, so are you feeling that? Do you understand what we're doing? They just kind of like look around. But yeah, I have experienced that too. But I've always tried to not push them to failure. I do like the tempo style things, but that is more of a more advanced kid who's up to par and knowing what's going on. So great idea.
Yeah. So, and if the kid's really, into sports, it's probably going to be more explosive motions and more just basic compound motions.
Right.
Yes.
And, oh my God, I would hate it if my coach ever told me I had to do tempoed squats. I've done slow squats before, but oh my God.
Yes, it's a little much. Yeah. So my next question would be, do you ever do group training? Because right now what you're saying, it sounds like you're one-on-one the whole time, or are you group training people in a sense?
I generally don't do group training. I have some brothers that I work with in pairs. Yeah, and most brothers are normally at each other's throats, and dogging each other really hard. But these two guys work together so well, and they've worked out together for a long time. They know how to support each other. So part of my job is giving them their own coaching cues, their own spotting cues. But I've been doing this so long that if I have to work with another middle-aged overweight woman, I would rather eat my own liver. So I don't do that anymore. And so now I won't
Ooh,
take
you just got hacked all over this computer screen right now.
Yeah,
you just said that.
Yeah.
Someone is saying, who is this guy? Right? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So my nutrition clients, that's one thing, my nutrition side of the business. But if I'm going to be in the gym, I want to be with somebody who I'm pushing. I do have an IFBB figure pro, so she is somebody I push hard. But when you're on my team, no drinking, no motorcycle riding, no dangerous sports, you are mine. And I told them, if they're speeding in a car and they get a car crash, I will come there, I will revive you and kill you myself for getting,
So you have two, or am I getting this right? You have two sets of clients. You have your competitors, and then you have your nutrition clients that come to you and say, hey,
it's actually three parts. I have my nutrition business, I have my team who have to be on the team, you have to be a competitor, and I have some personal training clients.
So you're not a transformation coach. You don't like transformation.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I've been doing this so long. I don't want to. I know what my niche is. I know it. After about 5 years of doing this, every once in a while, I knew a client was becoming, and I pretend like I was putting Vaseline on my teeth and saying $75 an hour, $75 an hour, because I didn't want to be with them. And so now my clients are very carefully curated. I know that they are there to work. And one of the first things I do, if you want to be one of my clients, you have to do leg day with me. We're doing legs. If you say I can't twice, I'll say, hey, listen, hey, I appreciate you coming in, but this isn't going to work. You can always say, whoo, man, this is going to be hard. I don't know if I can do this. But if you have the attitude of I can't, then it's not you won't do as well with me.
Yeah,
And I don't really want to invest. I'm too old. I don't want to invest my time in somebody who's just going to goof around, and I don't want to take your money. You
sure.
know, I feel it's ethically wrong.
But see, that's what's so cool about this business, is that it's a thing that we're called coaches.
Yeah,
So each coach has their positioning coach. You know what I mean? Even in football, right? You got a running back
yeah,
coach, linebacker coach, and the other linebacker coach says, I do not want to coach quarterbacks. I just don't want to coach quarterbacks. So I can look at it from that point of view. I myself, I'm a transformation coach. I already know, uh, and this is just sharing our thought process, but I enjoy the transformation side because I believe it helps people who think they can't do it be able to perform and then be able to do it, which allows them to like feel more confident within themselves. I also like the training side of things too. When I was in California, my whole group of about 17 girls and about 5 guys was all competitors. But I
hmm
was able to flick that switch and give everybody a little bit of me, if that makes sense. And I kind of enjoyed that factor. But I appreciate the fact that you're sharing that this is my niche, this is what I do. And not that I don't love you outside of this bracket, but this is my bracket. And
yeah.
Exactly,
So, so
and exactly, that's good to know because um, when you get that clientele. Because my next question, not cutting you off, my next question would be is because you train masters, am I correct?
it just word of mouth about my services. You know, older guys, middle-aged people don't hang out with a lot of younger people.
Mhm.
And most younger people can't afford my services. So I tend to have guys and gals, my, 35.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the age range. What is your age range that you have right now?
Um, my youngest is 27, and I think my oldest is 58.
Mm.
awesome. Do you
Um,
Awesome.
travel? Do you travel with your competitors, Yakov?
I have a travel policy, so they know that when they join the team, I have a written travel policy saying how many miles if away from my home they're going to have to pay for mileage and food and hotels. So yes, I will travel with them, and I have, but every situation is different. So I
Sure.
have a client who's going to be doing the wants to do the Philadelphia Classic, but I know he would have no problem, hiring me to go up there. And
Okay.
he's also I guess you could say he's my main patron. So he paid for my hotel and flights for my last two competitions. So he's
Oh,
in a
awesome,
financial
bro.
position to do that. But
That's
one of the even though I have a very specialized niche and each one of us has kind of what we do, but the one thing we have in common is that we are all in service to others. We are all
absolutely.
here to
Exactly.
make a change in somebody's life. And we were playing a game. It's like what's the main thing that you want to say that you did at the end of your life? And for me, it's like I was in service to others. I help people's dreams come true. I make a difference in somebody's life. And
Sure.
that's for me, that's like the hokey pokey. It's what it's all about.
And that,
Yeah.
and that's what keeps you going because
Yes. Mhm.
that's what it's not your motivation, but it's what makes you the person that you are. Because I think all three of us that's what fulfills us a lot,
Yeah.
and seeing people grow, people change, uh, and the things
Mhm.
that we've seen when people come from when they start from A and when they still going to Z, it our hearts,
Yeah.
Sure.
our hearts get so much fuller,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand why we do this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like you said, with the transformation, to see that light in somebody's eyes and maybe to see them after you haven't been training for years, but you made such a big difference in my life.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
family thanks you.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, the bodybuilding part is what I am passionate about. I love the sport. I've been in love with the sport for decades. And then finally, when I get to work with people who also love the sport, So
Yeah.
it makes it a lot more
Yeah.
interesting for us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all about your purpose, right? We was
Yeah.
like you stated, we
Right.
was all put here for some reason, and you know your why becomes your purpose. Then it's I don't even feel like I work, man. I
Yeah.
come here, I make friends, we talk about everything under the sun, we train, we do everything that I expect them to do, and we leave. And I want them to look forward and coming back into that door as you know, just as much as they're leaving that door. And so we're just in a I don't know, we're just in a really good place in our lives. I think I can speak for us just because of our profession, and you just kind of enjoy and seeing people lives change. It just makes everything all good for sure.
Yeah.
Did you,
I'm living the dream. How many
Yeah,
guys, gym rats and dream wish that they could spend their whole day in the gym and just
yeah.
training and working with people. Yeah.
That's my slogan every day, every post. Living the
living,
dream.
living the
That's
dream.
it for sure.
You see that?
Yeah.
It's a question by Tina Cox. Say, could your guest give an example of temp he would use with dumbbell flies and a dumbbell shoulder exercise?
All right. One of my favorite dumbbell shoulder exercises, since I've been fighting a shoulder injury. So I'm going to back up a little bit. So when I look at the anterior delt that rides right here, its plane of motion when I come up in this direction, it's all anterior delt with my palm up, a pronated palm. So what I'll do is I'll take two dumbbells and I'm coming up like this at a 2 count, hold 1, 2, and back down. But I'm keeping the tension. I'm never letting go of that tension off of that front delt. And I'm throwing the weight off to this side of my hand. So I'm not holding it in the middle. I have one handle right here. So most of the weight is hanging off this side. So it's going to pull my hand over, because when I roll my hand into this position, it's going to add some of that clavicular fibers, and I don't want that there. So that's why I use that kind of palm position. For dumbbell flies, when they're really heavy, just appreciating the stretch. But if it's ripping you apart on your top set, then maybe you necessarily don't need a tempo on that, but you could do like a 22-20, where you're coming down 1, 2, really feel that stretch, inhale and up, and you've got to get that squeeze. So if we have that 2 count at the top where we're really focusing on driving your elbows and your pecs together, that would be a good tempo for those two exercises.
Awesome.
Well, you got anything else, Michael?
I don't have anything else. Only thing I want to say is Rob has that background, and I want him to say why he has that background. Now we need to get into that just a little bit before we know where everybody's going to be at.
All right. So this building, this background behind me, I tell you that my wife created this idea. She saw the vision in it, and I didn't see the vision in it. I'm a bodybuilder. I walked in and I went, oh, I don't know if I like this spot, and so it was a salon. And then now here it is. We've created something that has filled both of our hearts. We get a chance to still do what we do. I get a chance to train people, and I feel as though this is the perfect spot for individuals who are coming to, once again, want to make a transformation or want to compete. I am totally involved in all levels of training, and that's what we do here. We have 4 trainers, and it's just an opportunity where it's no overcrowding. The place is just absolutely beautiful. Every nut and bolt that's here that's been turned, her and I did it. So we understand when there's a loose bolt, we know where it's at. We know the wrench size, we know it all. But this is something that I've been wanting to do forever, to get back into it since I've gotten out of it. I owned a gym in San Diego once, and got out of it. And when I got here, it was kind of a driven thing that I wanted to do. And she teamed up with me, and her and I decided that this is where it's going to be. And everything here is all a blessing, and I appreciate it. Nothing is taken for granted. And every day I walk in here, I go, wow, I'm only 3 minutes from home. and then in this,
I
yeah,
have I met your wife when we were
yeah,
in Fort Worth, and she is a lovely and amazing woman. And it just goes to show that, when to be as successful as you are and happy as you are, it takes a partnership.
yes,
You two obviously have that, and I'm very lucky that I really feel like to compete and to do things on a high level, you have to have that kind of support. And if you don't, you're trying to do this all by your own, but without the help of a loved one for those day-to-day things.
it's tough.
And when you're in your mindset, they're in the back and they can see some of the bigger picture. So you
Yeah,
are a blessed man. You have a lovely
yeah,
wife.
yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
blessed.
Thank you so much.
And I tell her all the time. I shout her out because hey,
Yeah,
she's taking care of my boy, but I know she's a big part of what's. I know that wasn't his design,
oh no,
so we
oh
can
no.
tell we can tell the touch wasn't there. Because when I saw the video, and I'm like, I thought that was y'all house at first, and I'm like, no way. Then it transitioned to Jim. I'm like,
Yeah.
ain't no way he came up with that.
No, believe me, it'd have been a totally different design. Only thing I did was chose the equipment,
Yeah,
and Mama said, "This goes here, this goes here, this goes here." And I went, "Okay, that's how we're gonna roll with it." But yeah, man, this is excitement. This is really nice, and I'm looking forward to sharing with the people in Sugar Land and all of the surrounding areas to let them know that this is a private gym, one-on-one training. We also have group training just on special appointments with group trainings. We will have boot camps that is set up, and we have all of the extra space behind the building, and this whole entire area is just so open, and it's a great opportunity for growth. But the most important thing, it's a great opportunity to bring people together and make this a community place to where you can come and sit down and we can watch TV in here. We have it set up to where they can watch. On the other side of this screen here, there's big screen TVs, there's chairs for people to sit in and enjoy. We have Thursday night football here, and people come here and watch football. So it's just we want to make it a family community thing to where we all have one goal, and that is to just be close and get fit and enjoy seeing ourselves change, and that excitement that you see on people's faces, it's like ultimate. And so if we can continue to do this with this facility, that's going to make our day for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah,
You're blessed.
yeah, absolutely. So other than that, guys, I know that there's a big football game going on, but before we go, Mr. Baltimore, what happened to your boys, man? They just couldn't make field goals.
And it's what is it about Baltimore and like the Orioles and the Ravens? It's like, oh my God, why is crash under the pressure? So little, this is a not a well-known secret, but the year that the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl, it was because I am such a jinx. If I even pass by their game while they are playing it, they will lose. So that year, I would not watch any games. I would listen to what the score was later, but I wouldn't listen to it on the radio or anything. I would go around the dial and the other way just to avoid passing by it, and they win. So if Vegas only knew my power.
Well, you just shared with the world right now.
Yeah.
Everybody knows your secret now.
Yeah.
It's out there. Yeah. It's out there. Why don't you tell everybody where you're located and how to get a hold of you and on social media?
Okay. My gym is in Owings Mills, Maryland, which is just outside of Baltimore. And I live in Catonsville, where life is great in 21228. And if you on Instagram, you can find me at coach.yakov. That's YAAKOV. I know I have an unusual name, but my last name is Bar-Am, so I have like the most generic Israeli name that you could ever ask for. And in my community, you can't swing a stick without hitting another Yaakov. So although it might sound unusual to most people, I'm a John Smith. And
Awesome.
also you can find my YouTube channel where I do a lot of stuff about the biomechanics of workouts, and workouts, if you have an injury, how you could work around it. So a quick example, since my shoulder has been bothering me, all pressing movements for my shoulder, for my chest workouts, um, I just can't press anything at the moment. So I have this really great workout, and I've done a video about it. That's all fly style motions, press across or a push across and dips. And I call it the depressing chest workout. But I still get a fantastic pump, and I'm sore the next day, and I'm doing it without pressing. Now, do I miss pressing? Yes, I do, because I love my dumbbell presses.
Awesome.
But Masters Muscle, 2 words on YouTube, and you can find my channel there.
Awesome. All right.
You reach me at Big Darkness 59 on Instagram, House of Darkness Fitness on Instagram, and on YouTube, Big Darkness 59. Also, I've been putting out a lot of workouts lately, so go grab them. They're under anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes for all you people that complain and say you don't have time before you go to work and after work. What about
There
you,
you
Rob?
go. I am the Legend Robert Johnson on Instagram. You can also find me now right here in this studio, 5726 New Territory Boulevard, Sugar Land, Texas, 77479. I'm here all day, every day. So you can't say you came here and I wasn't here, because I'll be sitting here. And but other than that, guys, please make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, just to help us move forward. Mr. Colbert, man, this is nice to have you here. You shared some very good stuff, and I'm hoping that everyone who's out there, please make sure that you go and look this guy up, because as you know, you can tell by just what he shared, it's something different for most. So just go check him out. I'm gonna always keep in touch with this guy. Once a friend is always a friend to me. And just being able to walk on stage with someone and you have fun and you laugh about it when it's all over with, and then you go have ice cream together. Yep, bodybuilders need ice cream after that. We gotta have ice cream together, and life is all good. So those of you who came on and asked the questions, we appreciate it. Cindy, we see you. Thank you for that nice compliment. We appreciate that.
Right, we're back.
And you know where we'll be next Sunday, right here, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. California time, Pacific. And who knows, we may have this man back one day sharing some new stuff with us. But we appreciate you, sir. And thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Peace.
All right. There you go. I'll come back and get your mic.
All right.
Okay. Oh.